birth of the Capsuleer. A sacred act, immutable and profound. Mind and machine merged. Flesh fused with power beyond mortal limits. United with destiny, a ship and its heart. They are one. Of life in an uncharted void. A galaxy where power and wealth spur humankind. Where four great empires seed the fractured renaissance of man. Wielding vast fleets, they carve their ideologies into the stars. The heroism and treachery of Capsuleers is woven into the fabric of New Eden. A story of industry, exploration, and conquest. However you choose to forge your destiny, do so with heart. New Eden is yours to shape. This is where your legend begins.
Well, hello everyone and welcome to the Mind Clash Podcast, episode 67. Calling this one a year in review. YC119. And we are joined by the core of the show here. The core of the show, missing Cyclo. Don't know where that guy is, but I was kind of hoping him to be here. And we're joined by our guest, Morgan. We'll start with invite, or this rum and eggnog is already getting to me.
This is a well-run machine here, guys.
It is, really.
This is a professional podcast, okay?
It is?
I'll explain that later. Morgan, introduce yourself, please.
I'm Morgan, Starkiller Emperor, Dark DAB, also known as Dark Angel Battalion, Imperial Militia Corps, that was part of it. But I'm also a DJ on eFreshRadio.com, currently doing like certain spots because my schedule's been off the rails because I got a new job. But yeah, that's me.
Sweet. Orion.
Orion's solo director and FC for Lethal Injection and Skirmish FC for the Great Triumvirate.
You gotta throw producer there of the Mind Clash podcast.
Everyone knows I do most of the work here. It's okay.
Okay, before we go, can you put my Twitter on the screen? It's at Morgan S. Killer.
Yes, I can do that.
Sorry.
Kael.
Yes, I am Kael. I am currently sitting in front of my gigantic TV, trying to see the entire screen so I can type and do stuff, but not working out so well. It'll be all right.
Are you going to be okay?
I think I will make it. My mom just always told me not to be too close to the TV, so.
Some serious
first. Then again, we also have Oculus Rifts and PlayStation VR, so that kind of stopped doing that.
Oh yeah.
Some serious first world problem shit right there.
I know, right? This screen is just too big. Ugh.
Oh, my eyes hurt. And I'm Meredudd. I'm still with Iron Armada. Had a pretty good week this week. Got to fight a group of roaming Twitch streamers as they came through our pocket this week. Well, pretty close to our pocket. It was Jeff Rader, Jay McLean, Gratelkin and I think Jeff's girlfriend. But they all came by Fountain, and I promised them content, so I pinged some of the locals. We dropped a carrier on them. I dropped my Megathron Blaster Fit on them. They were running 2 Barghests and 2 Ishtars, repping the CCP Blaze skin. Yeah, we had a pretty good little brawl. Killed Jay McLean. Felt good. He burnt out his rapid heavy launchers on me. Silly fool.
J. Tight Jeans McLean.
The tightest.
Love you, Jay. Please don't kill me.
Hey,
Giant human being if you haven't met him in real life. You're a good dude, dude.
Anything fun and exciting happened with you guys this week?
Like I said, I got up to camp management work. For a while, I was burnt out of Eve for like probably the last couple of weeks, so I haven't really been up to speed. Like I said, because management, being a manager, my workplace, and playing Minecraft for some stupid reason. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. And Rock Band 4, but that was basically it.
Sweet. Can you lean forward to your mic a little bit more?
So is this good? Sorry, it was tilted the other way.
Perfect. All right. Anything exciting happening to you?
I am currently digging the grave that is Triumvirate. As we are dying, we were killing supers and dreads from the DRF, but we're dying.
Sounds like a good way to die, actually.
No, we've just been busy, man. Literally, it's just content out the door. It's just a matter of forming up nerds and going shooting people. So it's been good. Been busy.
Living the Eve dream.
I know, right? That's the real life is just traveling. Dear God, I hate traveling.
All right, great. Well, if you're listening live, we could have 1 or 2 more people step in here. If you want to join the show, just poke me here in Discord and we'll pull you in. We're going to cover a bit of the review of EVE Online this year. We're going to try to cover a bit of the talk about the player count. We're going to talk about all the things that came out this week, even though you might not remember them. They're so long ago. And then we're going to go a little bit into the show, the last year of the show, and as we're into our second year, if you'd believe it.
Minecraft is dying.
Minecraft is dying. Totally.
Please ignore.
Yeah, I'm surprised it's already been that long, to be honest.
Yeah, wait till we get there. It's good. All right. Well, this week we have a slight implementation patch coming out tomorrow to activate the YOLI Festival YC120. That's a continuation of the Rogue Accelerator kind of event that was running at the beginning of Arms Race.
So that's all those drone sites, right? And I've still seen those as of yesterday. Is that not going to be a thing anymore?
They are still in space. It'll be a similar event. There will just be a new agency stretch reward bonus available if you're going out and completing those sites.
Gotcha.
So there will be more Glacial Drift skins if you haven't completed your full set. There will be more Cerebral Accelerators and the ULI accelerators, which are slightly longer. There will be more of the Christmas loot drops. My favorite is the Rorqual Changelog, which I cannot recommend you highly enough. Going to your local Citadel and delivering that to Doom Chinchilla.
Wait, what? What's up?
There's a Christmas item called the Rorqual Changelog.
So what you're saying is everybody needs to take this holiday item and contract it to Doom Chinchilla.
Delivered.
Yeah, I'll say that's too easy.
Specifically deliver. I like that. I can handle that.
Because then it goes into his asset list and he has to go to that Citadel. But if he has no access rights to the Citadel, it's forever just an annoyance to him.
Oh, yeah.
Enjoy.
I like it.
New with the ULI Festival starting tomorrow will be some new fireworks and obviously launchers to shoot those said fireworks. That was kind of talked about on a great interview with CCP Dragon with Asherothi. Apparently CCP Dragon approached Asherothi as far as interviewing him about going and talking about all of the agency kind of updates and that kind of system. So it's a great interview. Check that out on evepodcast.com. It's probably on Ash's YouTube too, but yeah, it's worth checking out.
I actually asked CCP Chair if he'd come on and talk a little bit, but apparently he has no time to sit down with us.
He's on his feet all day.
I know.
Yeah, if you don't use those fireworks guys and you're just sitting around with launchers, contract those to the Eve Scout folks. They gladly accept all that stuff for their hug fleets and stuff they do.
Hard Omega money going to work over there at CCP with new fireworks. Woo!
And then, as mentioned before, if you haven't heard that there's a unique skin available this week for a fundraiser for a former CCP employee who died this week or recently. I don't think he died this week, but
God, you say died? He passed away.
Okay, he passed away. Sorry.
Suddenly passed.
Recently engaged, had a kid. Engaged to his wife, left them all behind. He was about 36. Yeah, pretty tragic. He was in the art department on Team Trilambda. And yeah, so there's a skin available to him. It's an orange skin. It's available for 6 ships. I think the full package is like $4.95 Plex, and all proceeds go to supporting his family. So check that out. That closes tonight. So if you're listening to this in podcast form, you're fucked. They're quite beautiful. They have a beardy man on them.
A tentacled beard man.
True. And then there was a tweet out that said that 60% of EVE Online players would RMT if CCP Pelagro wasn't working at CCP Games. But rumors has it that that's from Eve Onion, so take that with a grain of salt or check their website for more details.
I'd say that Eve Onion is probably closer to reality than we'd like to give it credit for.
Sometimes they're cutting real deep. All right, we had some cool battles this week, some big kill board numbers. We had 2 that we're going to cover tonight. Start with the first one. Orion, you got a good feel on this one.
Don't fret me. Talking about the Wyvern that we killed?
Yes, sir. First one there.
Well, I missed the ping, but around, I think, it was 04, I think, my time. Kebabski was Rourke mining, and the Prothean Alliance has been running around dropping on some things in our local area, and he got dropped on. There's a Reddit post. I'll have to dig that up and link that here in a second. So he dropped his hell. They counter dropped with some dreads. They dropped some faxes. We counter dropped some faxes to rep the hell. Hell burned out of range of the dreads. Held at 25%. Then we counter dropped more dreads on top of them and mopped the field.
And mop the field you did. For the attackers, the Prothean guys, they lost 26 dreadnoughts, the supercarrier, and yeah, no faxes on that drop. Weird.
Yeah, the Prothean guys didn't drop anything. Also, if you didn't know, QTME is right next door to A24, which is where our Keep Star is.
Ooh, mistakes were made. So their losses came in at 109 billion, and for the trade, you guys on Triumvirate side lost only 3 dreads and 4 faxes, so that's not too bad. 18 bill.
If there's any person to drop with, Kebabski is probably the best hunter in Triumvirate, or on par with that. If you look at all the super kills, they can be attributed to Kebabski. He does really good work in what he does.
All right, well, shout out to Kebabski for this great battle report.
We also spent probably 5+ hours in an Entosis event against Legion of X-Death, DRFB team, and Test. And came out ahead in that one as well. It was pretty exciting. We did lose, I think, 1 or 2 I-hubs, but we came away 6 bill to 12 bill. And we only flew Raptors the entire time.
I mean, you were complaining about this earlier, but this is really just in Tosasov and how to win. You gotta be willing to sit on field for that extended amount of time.
Yeah. It's a battle of wills, and with X-Death, you're dealing with a group who, when they put their head to it, these guys were up, I think, early morning Russian time, 2 a.m. or something like that, and extended past 6 or 7 a.m. for most of those guys.
Yeah, I guess there might be some holidays kicking in now, so you might get some of those guys who are on longer.
I'm not sure, but they put in work. I'll give X-Death, they put on their try-hard pants, though. I wouldn't have sat in battleships for the entire time like most of them did.
Fair enough. All right. On the other side of the universe, the goons decided to make a foray out of Delve, off towards Cloud Ring, to interdict a onlining of a... Was it a retard or an Astra House?
Don't ask me.
It was a Horde Astra House in Cloud Ring, as there's a bit of a soft war going on between the Imperium and Horde over Cloud Ring as kind of a boundary region. And there was a bit of a herf blurf, as you can see in the Reddit comments there, as Matani was pinging for all hands on deck. So the Imperium went and they destroyed their target. But meanwhile, back in Delve, crabs be crabbing.
It's true, the crabs, they do crab.
It's interesting to see the goon out of his natural habitat, which is the large asteroid cluster.
That is their true natural habitat.
Yeah, no, I've actually seen quite a few goons head up to our region in Declan and a little bit in Branch, kind of exploring around. So we've had quite a few anti-goon fleets go out. I actually participated and got my monthly FAT, or whatever you want to call it these days.
I believe CO2 called it a FAT link.
Yeah, we got FATs, Fleet Activity Tracker. But yeah, I actually got my time in on Friday. Was it Friday night? Yeah, Friday night. Went out, we killed some hordelings, and saw a lot of goons running around. I know all weekend I've seen goon fleets go out, so goons are exploring out of their little cave of non-wonderness.
And you'll see also that and it just killed a French hell in a few jumps from their staging there.
Hold on. I haven't even gotten to what they killed. Hold on.
Oh.
So, while the goons were still on their way back, there was apparently some interdictors who were interdicting their capital fleet and slowing them down, because they had to take a lot of gates. You had to go through Fountain, long way. Cloud Ring back to Delve. In that time, a combined fleet of Fraternity, PL, a Slice, Mortis, Darkness, PH, and a couple other groups decided to mop up a bunch of Vorkwolves. About 10 or 12 here. And then that escalated into a whole bunch of other ship losses, a whole bunch of walking into the lawnmower. Total losses went to 211 billion ISK for goons. And they managed to kill 15.16 billion of the attacking dreadnoughts. So rip to the crabbing menace. They're probably already replaced.
Oh, they were replacing them as they were dying.
It's true. It's true.
They're just coming off the assembly line.
Oh, good. Empty pods ready for more Vorkwolves.
No, I mean, the goons have been doing quite a bit, moving around, doing different things. It seems like Cloud Ring's kind of an area of contention between the groups. I think you had a little poking of the goonage, did you not?
Oh, we've had a little bit of aggression from the south. Fountain is kind of got a lot of open space, and Bastion and Lawn seem to be wanting to test their mettle against another group, a group that they can amongst themselves, which are they're smaller kind of group alliances within the Imperium. They want to be able to test their mettle and try to start building their own personal identity. I think they're seeing a lot of strength in what the initiative is providing, as far as like a unified brand or like a strong culture within their group. And I think Bastion and Lawn would like to pursue that as well, so they can have their own internal culture, which is strong, and back that up with a military prowess that's independent from the other Imperium members.
Yeah, I think that's something all those groups need to do, or they just you just blend in, like you just kind of flow with the rest of the goon groups there. You know, if you don't become something like in it, you kind of just fade away. I think that's why we haven't. Everyone kind of thinks Lawn and the Bastion are dead, because you don't see them as an entity in different areas.
Yeah, for sure. It was definitely a problem that TNT had while I was part of them. They were definitely blended very deeply in with goon culture, and with the SIG system and with shared space, it was very easy to not see the difference between what was a TNT member and what was a goon member. And yeah, so I can see that they would have that crisis of culture internally, as Lawn and Bastion likely are. Not a great idea to come poke us, though. Not with the numbers they brought. I think we wiped them out pretty handedly. I wasn't personally there on the fleet, but yeah, you're gonna have to step your game up above Ferox fleets in a couple caps.
This isn't Quarius.
Nah. We taught Atlas about how this was not Quarius.
How the meta has changed, though, when you think about that. You're talking about these different ships where, you know, what we're looking at the beginning of the year, Macarials, and now we're talking about Feroxes and Cormorants. Is now the meta, really?
Feroxes have always been kind of around, like, you know, it was a main doctrine for us to use for engaging. It's more engageable. You know, when you bring out Feroxes, it's not near as scary as, say, undocking Nightmares and Macarials. You see a lot more of these Ferox fleets. They're fairly cheap.
Are those Alpha? No.
They're not a high end Alpha fleet, but they're close. Yeah. I mean, traditionally your Alpha fleets are like your Macarials, your 1600 kind of doctrines, your Artie Zippel doctrines.
I mean, that is not our typical defending fleet. They had to bring something a little bit more aggressive if they wanted to defend against us, as we've had about 6 months of nonstop war that have kept our doctrines up to tip-top shape. The biggest one, if you're just getting in after some time off, is T3 cruisers are quite strong right now.
Loki's. Yeah, I was gonna say it's just Loki right now.
Well, Loki's are pretty dang strong. They have a lot of usability. They have different damage types that they can apply, different fits. You can do armor, shield. You can put the links in there. You can do Logi. You can covert ops bridge them. Yeah, there's a lot of strength in the Loki right now.
Yeah, I mean, we did a fleet and we refit the covert, bridged over a couple, so we reduced the fatigue, then just dropped mobile depots in space, refit, and when we yanked that test rock in a joint op with Volta, so we bridged over a couple times and then refit the combat and went to town.
Yeah, you definitely need the DPS if you're gonna break some rorks. So, I mean, T3 or battlecruiser. Attack battlecruisers are pretty popular for that. Taluses.
Yeah, you kind of need to do that kind of thing. They just tank so well, and if anyone's with half a brains in one, they're going to have a response fleet on top of you before you can really even break a few of them.
For sure. Well, I expect a whole bunch of more good fights out of the east. You guys are still actively fighting over there, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nothing's changed with all the drama posts and stuff like that going on. Nothing's changed. we're still sending out fleets. There's a fleet out right now fighting against the RFP team as I speak. So we're still gonna fight for Sov and still keep going.
All right, well let's jump into our year in review topic. Maybe we'll awaken some other little cobwebs of thoughts that we want to bring out this week. So obviously it's December. We've had a pretty decent year of Eve. We've got some PCU counts here. For comparison, we've got 2016, where we had peaks around December last year, just after alphas came out, of around 50,000 players actively playing. This was after about a 34k average for the rest of the year. Then after Christmas, we had a good peak around the alpha changes, and then it slowly petered off as we got back into spring, and in summer it dropped down to perhaps a low of 32,000 peak, and then it has slowly built itself back up as we come into winter and people come in from outside, and we're up to just over 41,000 pretty much on Sundays. 42,000. Some of that maybe accounted to the Chinese influx from Serenity.
I don't know. I've kind of poked in every day this weekend, and I've seen max like 22,000.
In US West time zone?
No.
I think it's a mix between both. I mean, generally you'll see more EU than US time zone on, and I forget what the time zone is for FRT and the Chinese guys, but it's kind of similar to EU, early US, I think, maybe. I'm not sure.
It's like 06 to 12 or 1200.
Okay. Yeah.
It's like AU to TZ essentially.
They're growing, but and not astronomically yet. They are getting more and more folks in there. They're great people. If you ever get to talk to the FRT guys and the other groups associated with Ranger Regiment, I can't remember the other one off the top of my head, but Ranger Regiment and FRT, or Fraternity as they're known, they're really good people. Really enjoy talking to them when you can, and they fight like they don't care. They go all in. They'll bring those Tempests in and just brawl out. Doesn't matter. They'll just keep reshipping, just crazy. Love it.
Yeah, and then as far as the Sov map goes, there hasn't been a huge change. I've lost my second image here.
That one's above the player count.
We have two of them here, 2016, 2017, but I lost the second one.
Yeah, the map really hasn't changed much. I mean, goons are still in the same place they were, about this time of last year, and I mean, players have expanded their reach a bit, I think, or at least their collaboration of reach. Like, take for instance Guardians of the Galaxy, they pretty much own the northwest area.
Yeah, I mean, not a whole lot's changing, minus the FCON pocket there. It's since they have died off.
Yeah, I mean, notably in the East, Triumvirate's huge compared to it was in 2016. In Panics expanded their range. Shadow Extet about similar size. Solar much smaller. Obviously,
are you sharing this stuff on screen? I'm not watching it live.
No, I'm not. Sorry, I don't have that set up.
What a noob.
We've also notably Circle of Two dropped this year.
Oh, let's not even talk about that yet. Golly.
We'll link them in the lobby, so if you're streaming the lobby, at least they come up there. Not on stream, so someone link those.
I might actually have to get around to throwing some iskies towards Orion with all this help he's been doing.
But please do. I'm a broke ass FC. I am a broke ass FC. So I mean, in all reality, probably the coalition map would probably be a better idea to look at things, because if you look, it's somewhat factionalized in here between Test and all those groups bordered up against CVA and whatnot. Not a lot to change there, except for, of course, like you were saying, CO2 dying and
It's not dead, man. It's in hiatus.
until the great resurrection of the Gigex.
I mean, he's already poked his head in here and there. Let's all be real.
Oh, we all know he's been.
Let's get clear here.
Yeah, Soviet Union is also notably missing from the 2016 to 2017 comparison.
Yeah, SV's taking some hits. Must be back in staying. I haven't heard hide or hair out of those guys. The group that's really kind of come up and started really trying to do some things is Red Alliance. I've seen them have some nice brawls with Test, and they've been dealing with the culture in the MNC area.
According to the Asher podcast, they've moved out to a pocket in just near Catch there, a more dangerous pocket, closer to the combat, willing to get more into the combat, and they've kind of abandoned the period basis region just because it's not really leading them to being healthy. They're just crabbing too hard and not enjoying the game enough.
I think that's good. I think that's what's happened to Solar. Solar used to be a premier power in the game. They used to rival XDeath all the time when they were not blue, and MacTep was a big name fighting one another. And I think when they bent the knee and they kind of just took that outer passage pocket, they've just kind of fallen away. They don't form very well anymore for a lot of these timers. It's XDeath and DRFB team, and even Test doing most of the work around here. I'm really actually saddened by it. I had a lot of respect for Solar, and they're just falling away. They're not to the speed they were.
And the other notable exception in the same kind of category is that PL's expanded their range quite aggressively up in the north, taking more off. But according to the Asher podcast as well, that that group is internally perhaps a little bit stale and having a hard time getting their pilots to log in.
I didn't realize that Asher started his podcast back up.
He does it when he wants to.
Yeah, like every other month or so. Like, yeah, I guess I'll podcast today. But I do like listening to him, though.
Yeah, he's pretty. With PL, I can't pontificate on him. I don't have a lot of context in there, but I mean, people aren't really dropping super caps right now. You'll see a few from NC defending their alts or their renters in their space, but you don't see a lot of super cap dropping at all. And I think that may be why you see a decline in the PL groups and even some NC folks not logging in near as much, just because I don't think they're dropping their supers and stuff like they were, and that's why you saw those huge numbers of PL and them just slapping people.
Apparently their fleet is down in near Providence right now. The NCPL super fleet is deployed. Unconfirmed. I don't know.
I don't know. I know NC still got plenty of supers and stuff like that over in airspace. They lapped a Wingspan, I believe, Titan in the Great Tribute area.
Rip.
Although I did hear a Revenant died to Providence from PL.
Yes, there was a great Reddit post on that. It was Mr. Meeseeks, look at me.
Hey, Mr. Meeseeks, look at me.
Yep, he died to a coordinated dread bomb on him.
We were at Target today, and I was trying to convince my wife to let me buy Mr. Meeseeks action figure. She wasn't down for that.
What is that?
You're fucking with me. He's got to be fucking. He's fucking with us.
What?
Do we have to kick him from the podcast, Kael? Do I need to be your co-host?
So. You've never heard of Rick and Morty?
I've heard of it. I don't watch it.
I thought that too until I had a lull in training a few months back, and I proceeded to binge watch all 3 seasons of it in the span of about 3 days because I could not stop.
Okay, well, I mean, that's a show I've been wanting to watch. I just haven't gotten into it.
Solid recommendation. They're 20-minute episodes. You can clear a season in a day. Come on.
Yeah, they're not very long. Like you'll watch one, and if it triggers you, like it most does everyone, you'll watch the whole thing without stopping. You just don't want to stop it. So it's good. I like it.
I mean, I was a very late adopter to Archer, so perhaps.
You just need to knock this one out, rip the Band-Aid off, get yourself in there, so you can, join us before you hit 2018 and not know what Rick and Morty is.
I know, right? Still got a few more days left in this year.
Yeah, please.
It's something about McDonald's sauce, right?
Oh dear God!
Szechuan.
You're gonna get stabbed IRL. This is why that's what's gonna happen. Do you not know how crazy Rick and Morty fans are? They literally brought Szechuan sauce back because of Rick and Morty, and then there were people protesting because they ran out of Szechuan sauce.
Okay, please don't stab me IRL.
I mean, yeah. Rick and Morty fans, please don't stab our co-host.
No joy in chat is definitely triggered.
I work at McDonald's, okay? And this happened around the time of Vegas. I was looking on Twitter about it, and people were going nuts over it. And then when I go back to work, and it's like, did something happen when I was gone? And it's like, yeah, people kept asking about this Szechuan sauce, and nobody knew what it was. It was so weird. Because I'm glad it happened over Vegas.
Yeah,
please.
I'll
For your safety, Meredudd, watch it.
Okay, that's my Christmas, maybe sort of post-Christmas thing to do.
I mean, literally, just pull it up on YouTube when you're in the bathroom. Like, literally, knock out an episode before you leave the bathroom.
You need to eat more
What
fiber,
kind
my
of?
friend.
Yeah, probably.
All right, let's get into the biggest changes this year. There were quite a few updates to the game. Some of these might seem like distant memories.
Like the moon mining?
Nah, that's a recent memory.
No, but it feels like has anybody actually started moon mining yet? Didn't it take like a week to 8 weeks to actually start doing the mining for the moon stuff?
It's full blast right now.
Full gun.
I know, but it's been like more than like a couple of weeks, right?
I think we're on.
How long did it take to shoot a laser at the moon again? Like 1 week?
I think we're on second or third pull from some moons.
Wow, still
be our third pull.
Second or third.
Yeah, there are rocks out there in space.
Yep.
Wasn't the big Plex change this year?
All right, let's start from the old ones.
Yeah. Was that this year? I think it was. It had to be this year. So I think that was when I was.
It was after Vegas last year.
So the first big
yeah,
one.
So it was definitely last year, or the year before, or this year. I can't remember. Whatever.
So the first one was fitting simulation came out this year.
I don't. In all hindsight, I don't like that because before the fitting simulation, you could since there was no fitting simulation, you could highlight an item, and it'll show you how much power grid it would take before you fitted it, and I loved that. But then they got rid of it with the fitting simulation, so
it still does that.
Not on my computer, where you can highlight it and then it will show you how much it would take up on the bar, and you would highlight another item and it would also take you. I mean, as when you're fitting a ship, not for the fitting simulation.
I think if you click on it and like you were gonna drag it onto your ship, it shows the difference.
Well, I mean, I thought I don't know, it's whatever.
I really enjoy it. I didn't use
the fitting
eFit
simulation. It's just I don't use it.
I love it.
Idea.
I love it. Saves me so much ISK.
No.
I like the fitting tool. I think it's brilliant.
Yep, I can pull up any fit through whatever and toss it bring it from Zkill, bring it up in the fitting thing, see how my skills apply immediately, and go to town. Buy it right there.
Yeah, because I mean, you don't need PIFA or EFT or anything like that. You can just copy and paste it right out of anything off of anything that has just that text format. Just copies right in.
Yeah, BOFA notes with multi-fit, another powerful tool that we've gotten.
My Caracal fleets love that.
A tool that I've been using with the fitting simulator is I've been pulling fits off of Zkill, just copying those over, putting them right in the game, linking that in Jita, buy all, fit it up. I can have a ship from Zkill to my sitting in it in 7 or 8 clicks and maybe 20-30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
It's making for an expensive ship habit, but oh well, that's what MyISK is for.
Do you know what the first episode was for Mind Clash and what it was about in 2016?
Nope.
The first one of
Let's see.
2016?
First one. Had I come back from Afghanistan yet at that point?
Not sure.
First one in 2017? Well, the
I
last...
can't even remember, like, I couldn't
Wait,
even remember,
2016 or 17?
16.
Ooh,
I
2016.
can't remember what happened, like, in the last couple of days, like, outside of work. What do you expect? How do you expect me to remember, like, 2016?
Yeah, Morgan brings up a really good point. I can't even remember a couple days ago.
There's a reason they put our names on our uniforms.
That's a fact.
Yeah, that's true.
But
Sad, but true.
I think bubble decay was another thing, right?
But yeah, bubble decay was a thing.
Alphas was a little bit before that, so alpha changes. That was kind of the big stuff we were talking about 1 year ago today.
Yeah, but, like, the difference is, it's you can remember the patch updates. You can't remember, like, it's hard to, I don't know.
So we were talking about the numbers between alphas came in last year, correct?
That's right.
So, really we've just seen it kind of still ebb. The alphas, or maybe, I don't know how many alphas we got sticking around, but it's still hovering around that 30K mark,
Yeah, I mean, we don't know the exact numbers as far as how much. Like, you could probably say, that yes, this many are alphas, but there's no way really of knowing what of those alphas are other, Omega players.
Or
It's
yeah,
kind of
how many
hard.
switched over.
Right. It's hard to say without like sending out, an email and asking people and then assuming that they answer.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can poke a CCP dev and see if they'll talk about what the conversion is, if they can give us an idea of the amount of conversions from alpha to omega since the 2 years.
Yeah. I mean, there's that, but I mean, how are they going to know, of newly created alphas?
Who's an alpha? Who's an actual player compared to who's an alt?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Thanks, Morgan.
Sorry.
But who's a Cylon and who's not a Cylon?
Alpha, yes. Aurum was discontinued. I guess that's part of the Plex change. So if you had Aurum, you no longer have the Aurum because it was converted into the Microplex.
Does anyone like a little iffy about that change? I mean, I'm fine with it. I just don't know if anyone's actually about it.
The only qualm so far that I have in regards to the Microplex changes when they changed over to that new payment processing system, I used to be able to have an auto renew, and then it just kind of stopped. I wasn't able to auto renew, and I'd find myself going to alpha status, and a few days would go by, and I go, oh shit, I got to go back in and do that. And the other thing is, you're no longer able to transfer characters via Plex. It's only through credit card now.
Yeah.
So that's the only downside. But other than that, I mean, it's.
I'm glad I only have one actual in-game account and one Steam account.
Yeah, I think for me, I don't really see it as a difference. It's just a different level of currency. It's just a broken down level of currency, and it doesn't affect my gameplay.
I'm glad we only have one prepaid currency now.
Yeah, it does make it simpler to go onto that new Eden store and only have to go, okay, how many Aurum do I have, and what's my Plex, and how many Aurum do I get for this many Plex?
Yeah, it was kind of a mess.
So that's way later in the year. After alphas, there was bubble decay was introduced. So you no longer had systems fully bubbled over multiple days. Bubbles would degrade after 7 days.
You see a big change there, because I mean there used to be systems in Eve that had permanent bubbles forever that no one wanted to grind through 30 or 40 large bubbles. And now, since they die, it's actually kind of expensive to sit there and just put those bubbles up all the time and replace them after they die. Natural, their natural pastime.
Yeah, that's not so stupid. Yeah, that must have been a really good idea. For for the game in the null game in the long run. I mean, it was a huge game changer, I guess. Because, sorry.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. I didn't like those back pocket systems that were heavily bubbled. It was terrible for roaming. And roaming needs as much help as it can get. It doesn't need to be worse.
Yeah, I think it's helped in that regard. One thing I do wish, I don't see it on here. I wish they did put oh, there it is. Yeah, they have the maximum lifetime on these, which tells you how long they last.
Yeah, it's different among faction Tech 1 and Tech 2.
Yeah, small Tech 2 will last 7 days.
All right, a little bit after that, CCP started rolling out additional measures to upgrade structures. The one that they've released earlier in the year was repair in structures. So this was a little bit of a parity thing, quite annoying before we had to sit in the tether or go repair at a station, but adding repair to citadels definitely brought a lot of parity to the game.
Yeah, it was an interesting thing, though. There was no station to repair at. You'd see fleets sit on citadels for however long trying to rep up or do whatever.
Should we or not have been, as we thought it at the beginning of this year or even late last year, by this time we should have been gotten rid of pauses, yes?
We have to reach parity first.
Yep, we have to. Jump bridges have to be addressed.
Sino jammers.
Yep, sino jammers have to be addressed as well.
Sino beacons.
Yep.
Also, gambling had to be addressed.
Well, that was last year.
So yeah, there's still some work in progress. I imagine it's going to be a mod just like anything else added to a citadel, with a spot in space probably where that's the designated point the capital will come in, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, hopefully.
Hot drop.
Oh, hello.
What's going on, guys?
Hey, introduce yourself for everyone and I'll find your portrait.
All right, I'm Hobar Malow. I'm a director in Einstein Rosen Brigade, a C4 Wormhole Alliance. How y'all doing?
We are doing.
First, we want to establish that the Mind Clash podcast does not recognize wormholes as an actual identity. There's no such thing. They're
Wow. What a hot take.
We have to get into those legal things right off the get-go.
It's a running joke, but thank you for joining us, Hobar.
Yeah, no problem. Hang on, the wife just called me to go grab her something, so I'll be right back.
Typical wormhole deflection.
Exactly.
I've actually been still strongly contemplating going back to Wormhole. I just gotta find the time. Maybe I'll do that while I'm off for a month taking care of my wife.
It's a lot of work. We need to be fairly active.
She's having spinal fusion tomorrow, so I'm gonna have 30 days off of hanging out.
They're giving you leave for that, though, right? You said something about that.
Oh yeah. I'm getting 30 days of free leave. Convalescent leave.
Nice. You deserve that after all the garbage they've ran you through.
Yeah, but I've actually lived in a wormhole before, so I'm familiar with the ins and outs. I just haven't had the time since then. But I think I'm kind of now in that point in my Eve career, if you will, to go back in there and invest some time in there.
Eve is a career.
It's
yeah, it is.
I'm sorry. I was just I didn't mean it like that.
That's I like it. I like wormholes. It was just a lot of work, and we didn't have enough guys to really make it successful when we tried to do it there for a little while. But the fights are probably for smaller fleet fight kind of stuff. It's probably no better place to get those kind of fleet fights. People multi-boxing tunes and stuff like that. They're some of the best fights you can get a hold of.
The reason it worked for me a couple years ago when I did it is when I was living in Germany, and I can get up. I got up at like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, and I would scan down all the signatures for that day, and then in the evening I'd come back and I'd go hit those signatures up. So, it just kind of worked time-wise for me.
Yeah, I love it. Can't beat the fights. That's probably the best part. I just love the fights.
Just rolling your hole and being able to hit content if you're in the right wormhole, I see what it does. We've used them a few times, even in my short stay in Triumvirate so far. And even in TC, we ganked someone inside of a wormhole. So, which even if you're just tackling a dread in a wormhole, can be a sketchy thing if the conditions are wrong for you.
So the best part is you want to still get the PvP shakes, and wormholes is great because you never know what's coming or who else is there. If it was bait, it's just always fun.
I believe every square inch of wormhole is covered by a cloaked Proteus. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah, it's got to be.
Oh yeah, better believe it.
All right, the next thing down the list of the timeline of last year was the Kiyonoke inquest occurred just before FanFest.
That's another thing that's kind of what now? They bring out these little chunklets of lore stuff, and then it just wipes away, and then all of a sudden we're just kind of meh. No lasting thing to it.
Yeah, that was honestly probably one of the coolest things that they did this year was that Kiyonoke inquest, and they did that whole site revamp to the lore. They had like fiction.eveonline.com or something like that. And I kind of hoped that the lore would start driving the story and what we do in EVE Online, but so far it really hasn't had much of an impact. It has had some.
It's getting there. I'm hearing reports from people saying that NPCs have actually hit some people's structures due to these fobs that come out. One Horde guy said he had to defend his Astra House or something like that. I forget what it was.
That's AI driven, right? How much of that is lore based? It is part of the story, and hey, these new NPC groups are setting up camp, but I don't know. The reason that I really got back into EVE was because of the lore, and I feel like a lot more people would get into it if it felt more alive and more immersive and like things mattered.
I think the fob thing. I think people were kind of expecting that. I think we all kind of expected that. We kind of all hoped that the NPC groups would rise up and start doing things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That would be cool.
I recently got Skyrim for Nintendo Switch, and I started playing that. And one of the things I liked about it was if I started doing things in certain towns, like stealing crops or killing chickens, the townsfolk wouldn't like me all that much. So I feel like if EVE had something like that, where your actions, if your actions caused some sort of reaction from the locals,
of getting banned from that space,
right?
All you get's like standings. The lore is not really in your face. If you're a new player, you really don't get exposed to it.
Unless you're apparently, from what I remember, apparently the Jove get like not the Ymar. The Ymar get a negative Jove standing from the start because of the lore thing. Because of Ymar tried to fight the Jove and it just didn't end well. Yeah,
and that's something if you start on a Ymar character, you may not know off the top of your head, or may not be fully explained to you, which can harm new players if they kind of poke around the wrong areas and bump into that.
Yeah, so when I started EVE, this was back in 2014, I was playing Dust, and as I always say, I wasn't expecting what I was expecting, because I'll probably have to tell this story later, but I didn't expect an open world to like an world so open but feels so weird, like where nothing. I don't know.
No, I know what you mean. Like where it's a completely open world. It's a sandbox. We can do whatever we want, but it doesn't feel like our actions have consequences.
Effects.
Like besides, yeah, okay, we're taking Sob, and if we take Sob, that means you don't have it. But at the same time,
I mean,
it
like
doesn't.
in terms of NPCs, it feels like
Right.
nothing's going on. Outside,
Right.
if you go do something, if you get enough, kill enough shit of theirs, they will ban you from their space and try to kill you. But that's basically it.
Yeah, I mean, if I go, if I keep hitting Blood Raider sites, eventually you think, Blood Raiders are going to start wanting to hunt me down if I'm in their space.
And they'll try to start like bringing in dumber, bigger shit. If you go into their space, they'll start trying to attack you with like cruisers, then battle cruisers, then battleships. You think something would be like that?
Yeah.
Well, if you want to really get stumped by some Blood Raider ships, you can also do it both Garistas as well. But this year brought out the shipyards expansions to the Garistas and Blood Raider PvE content through this Blood Raiders and Garistas Sotios.
I need to ask questions. Are the Garista subcaps like blueprints a thing yet?
Yes.
Yes, the Gersta ones, yes.
Okay, there are ones that exist. That makes sense.
Angels, sadly not.
Not yet. We probably won't see that until they drop the new angel caps.
God, those angels are going to be so sexy.
Yes, they are. And also, it seems like with these, something else I imagine we'll see with the next iteration of this when they drop the angel caps, or if they skip that and go to someone else so they can get more time for the angel caps. Something maybe they won't at all, but the loot drop has always been kind of controversial, especially when they first came out with the Blood Raider one. People warping in and trying to scoop it immediately. I was Reddit post about the Garista ones that just got scooped. Someone warped in a hauler at 0 that was max stabbed, grabbed it, and warped out.
Yeah, it's not the same problems as when Scepters could do it, but yeah, they're still doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, heck, I give it to them. They set that up pretty elaborately.
No, yeah, I mean, it's. I have no issues with it, but again, it's one of those things like, you got to be on the ball with it. And you're having to have kind of a gimmicky way to do it. You're seeing these Raven fleets do it. Goons were famous for running it with Punishers, I believe. The Blood Raider one.
Like that feels like the equivalent of like having to play Mortal Kombat 2 in order to beat the game. You had to use exploits because the computer would input read.
The responses are pretty hardcore in regards to all that. So it's making players at least innovate and figure out different ways to go about it. So I mean that's nice until it's figured out, and then it becomes similar to incursions.
Like Mortal Kombat 2, like that one. That's why I was like, once you know how to beat the game, which takes forever, you beat the game.
So in addition to those Blood Raider contents, shipyards, also the new capitals were introduced. The whole Blood Raider line and now the Greases line are both available out there. I know there's some people who have some of those ships. They're rare, but they're out there.
I'm not sure how I feel about the Garistas ones, since they seem cool, but then again, they seem kind of useless because everyone's telling me that capital missile ships do not work very well.
Well, they do. I mean, that's...
when they're hitting like certain structures, apparently can't hit shit with missiles.
It's all about how well you do the target up, but people still use Phoenixes. You see a big meta right now. People using Phoenixes to RF citadels outside of the lock range and major DPS range.
Oh, okay. That makes
So
sense.
that is bringing kind of back a Phoenix meta. You're seeing a lot less Moroses now. Rebs are being a thing now.
Well, I mean, I know all ships are a thing. It's just like I never understood like a Phoenix, how the Phoenix was like the run of the middle until people explained it to me, where they have problems hitting stuff.
Well, see, right now it used to be you didn't tell anyone to get into a Phoenix at all. Like they were basically useless for a big part of the time. You was getting rid of everyone and everything else. But now there's an actual reason to use them. You hit these forts and Astra houses, even not keep stars, but you can hit those other two citadels pretty much with impunity with those.
Because I'm guessing it's like a long. How long of a range does Dreadnought have? Does a Phoenix have? I'm gonna have to look this up. Like even in basic form, you think it would be really long.
In lieu of another 3-hour conversation on capitals, I'm going to advise everyone go check out our last episode, which we spent the whole show talking
All
about capitals.
capitals.
All the time.
I mean,
All
if I
cap
flew a
everything.
capital, it'd probably be a carrier.
Yeah, we talked about everything there. All of these
Okay,
things.
All
sorry.
caps.
Sorry, I'm getting sidetracked.
Nice thing is, I have a new video card, so I can see the 6 suns.
Oh, the Suns. Yes, that was a new update this year.
So my son was watching me, my 5-year-old, he was watching me play Eve the other day, and I was actually sitting on a citadel, and I kind of panned over, and the sun just like brightened up the screen. He like looks away, goes, "Oh, Daddy, make it go away." And I was like, "What do you mean?" So the sun is so bright because it's bright.
And it's obviously wasn't an oversight because they probably didn't think about it, but the inside of the suns actually looks worse now than it used to. If you've ever had a ping
I'm sure.
inside of one.
Yeah. Speaking of which, looking at graphics and stuff, somebody is going to have to help me out on my VirtualBox Windows copy where I'm trying to look at Eve Online. It looks like shit, but I don't do that because that's not cool.
You know, the problem, like one of the things, like the suns look on low graphics look horrible.
Speaking
Just
of my
look
5-year-old,
plain
here he is right
awful.
now.
Hi.
I
Hello,
Say some-
little
say-
decadence.
Say what's up. Do you want to wear my microphone? You want to wear it? Okay.
This is the new host for Mind Clash podcast.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Do you play Eve too?
No.
What's your favorite game?
Minecraft.
okay.
Hey, that's what my son likes to play.
This is legit. My son plays that on Xbox.
Mine too, and he always wants me to play with him.
I'm pretty good at Minecraft. I built some good
Yeah,
stuff.
This little dude, he likes to watch Minecraft playthrough videos.
That's what mine does too.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. He loves these things.
Actually,
It's a big thing right now.
believe it or not, I got trolled by a 5-year-old on Minecraft.
No
How
way.
did that go? How did that happen?
He asked me to play with him, and he wanted me to build him some big dungeon that he could crawl through and kill everything. So I was like, all right, yeah. So I spent a whole hour building this fantastic thing with traps and pitfalls and everything. And then he just completely runs through it, kills everything, including the Endermans or whatever I put in there, in literally under a minute. And
Wow.
I was confused. I was like, how did they not kill you or hit you? And then he just starts laughing, and he opens up the menu, and he had gone in the admin settings and turned himself invisible.
Wow.
Yeah. So I got trolled by my 5-year-old son on Minecraft.
Hold on.
Well, your son sounds like he could be a good computer person when he gets older.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I'm having my father get him a small little like kind of computer that will just pretty much run Minecraft and small games like that. So that'll be fun.
How old's your father?
Oh God, he's late 50s. I mean, he builds computers and stuff.
Late 50s. Like wow, I wasn't expecting that.
All right, let's keep this train rolling down the tracks. We mentioned it earlier, but the plex splitting from a single plex to 500 plex change was this year, as well as the change from being able to split large injectors into 5 small injectors. This gave granularity to alphas or people who have smaller subscription amounts that they want to just get a little bit more SP, or they just want to piece together their Plex over the month, or if you want to invest in small amounts. This also opened up the new feature that is alpha daily injectors, which are 20 Plex. Obviously that smaller amount of Plex requirement, it was made possible by this change to allow smaller Plexlings.
And the daily alpha injector, right? That's a thing now too.
Yeah, that's the end of the year, but yeah, it was brought to you by that change.
I would say I had one drop in a site, I believe.
Really?
Or no, it came in one of the boxes from the drone sites when you did the missions for it, and you got the little box at the end.
Yeah, that last event, I think it was a battle cruiser for the first box, the alpha injector on the second, and then a battleship on your last one.
Yeah.
I got a daily alpha skill injector from one of those.
Yeah, I think still like I said, maybe it was last week. What I find most frustrating about this new alpha change is, so when I go into my alpha characters and I start setting skill queues, until I actually press start skill training, like I don't know that a certain skill, like it'll say, oh, you can't train this until you've gone Omega, but it looks like it appears when I'm dragging it down in the skill queue that I can train it up until it gets to that yellow box. So I'm thinking, oh, I can train this until I reach that yellow box, but clearly that's not the case. So it's confusing at times.
Lulu reminds us in chat here that another big change to go with those Plex split was the Plex Vault, which allowed you to stash away your Plex in a safe spot, so you didn't have to transport them between stations or between characters on the same account.
The current meme now is to run around with one Plex in your cargo hold for the walls.
Plex tank.
We had a goon die in A24 today with one solid Plex in his cargo hold.
All right, the next thing to come out was through FanFest, and then later through attendees to Vegas, was the Concord chip line. This is the Pacifier, the Enforcer, and the Marshal. Now available through the next thing that came out as well, which was the Project Discovery exoplanets.
Hashtag no transits.
No transits. No cytoplasm transits.
Yeah, I tried doing that in the new 2.0 of that, and I still couldn't figure it out. 1.0 was good with the bacteria or the cell research, but this new planet one, I just not good at it.
As Baki would say from Best of Us, fuck science.
Well, I mean, science is cool, but not this much science.
Nah, he was struggling with them. I think he was having the transit issue that people were having. He was just not having a fun time with it.
Yeah, fuck that.
It's not too hard. I mean, if you need help, I could always help you with it. I'm only about a level 50. I've got my pacifier, but it's it just takes some learning. It gets a little bit of feel, and then some of them are just impossible.
Morgan has to say night nights.
Have a good night, guys. Be sure to follow my stream. Follow me on Twitter. It's on the screen right there. Morgan S. Killer.
Good night, Morgan.
Night.
Good night. Yeah, I mean, I took the Project Discovery 2.0 more as a marathon than a race. So I open it up each day, do my 10 samples, and then leave it alone. And if I forget the next day, I forget. But occasionally I remember to go do them.
Yeah, I personally try to get those 10 in, but I'm really bad at remembering to do it.
I've done it a couple times. It wasn't something I got into. I just never sat down and grinded that stuff out.
I mean, look at the positive changes, though. We got the extended stretch rewards in Project Discovery. We got single-level skins available for every level of Project Discovery, which gave you a short-term goal, like, oh, I'll get a new skin at every level. And then you'll also get that long-term goal of getting your Pacifier and your Enforcer and your lab coat classes.
Oh, yeah, it's good. It's an actual thing that's helping.
Yeah, real science. It's super cool. And of course, I can't wait until we identify some planets in different systems and they start giving them New Eden names.
That would be awesome.
I mean,
Please don't name them after Eve players, though.
No.
But I'd love to see Planet Hobar.
Oh, come on. If we had a Planet Hobar, we'd have to have a Planet Man face McMissile tits.
That's a fair trade.
But I mean, Jita or like VFK Tash 7
Poitot.
Poitot.
I don't know if you guys know, but Poitot is the only name system in Syndicate.
I did know. Turgid doesn't know. You shouldn't let him know.
Praise Poitot, by the way. We waved the blue flag.
Next big change was the change to T3 cruisers, which definitely has felt waves across New Eden as doctrines shifted dramatically as they shifted from 5 subsystems down to 4 and then rebalanced the whole line as well.
It basically dumpstered T3 fleets as a mainline doctrine, as in an armor doctrine. You'll still see them as more of a support role, but you won't see straight, 150 Proteis running around.
You should come to Wormholes, where everyone is flying Lokis.
It's the same way out here in Null. I mean,
Just FYI, everybody, I'm currently in Goon Space on my Mind Clash podcast character. There's a lot of people in here, but I'm going to continue to advertise and throw out our link.
Watch out for supers.
yeah, in before Super Death.
Yeah, I'm in HM TAC XR2 in Delve. I'm going to go all the way through here, all the way down to, what is that? No, what's that down southwest? Cloud Ring? Period basis.
I was going to say, you two totally different directions.
Aquarius.
I'm not a very good 13 Fox.
Please don't call in for me.
Try Aquarius. There's a little bit more people there.
Less chance of dying on gate to Titan. Aquarius.
True. Next change.
So far.
Next change was the agency introduction. This is the motivating stretch goals that allow you to log in during the events and have something to do. They've tried quite a few different iterations of the agency now, but this also evolved into the agency browser, which is now available, which allows mostly newer players, because most of us veteran players already know what we're going to do that day when we log in, which is spin our ship or go mine some rocks. But for a newer player, that gives them an option to see what missions are available in what systems, see event sites that are available, see the current seasonal event that's going on, all from one easy browser. So
now I do like that, yes. I like the interface. I've actually kind of found it coming in handy. So yesterday I was just doing some moving some dog shush. I was moving some assets around, but also at the same time I was mining on another screen. But I was looking at the agency thing, and it was quite handy. But at the same time, I don't like the way they introduce the agency. Like they just put out in one of those dev blogs where like, oh, and the agency and blah 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 blah. But we still haven't really got an explanation of what the agency is and where it came from.
I am the agency.
Yeah, I mean, you could be. You might as well be. Let's just throw that one out there. Meredudd is the agency. End of story.
Don't ask me where I get all those rewards from.
All the dank iskies we make.
Well, there's no ISK rewards currently, or they haven't used an ISK reward for the agency rewards yet.
RMT. We get it all from RMT.
That's where it's there. All right, we're getting up into recent history now, but obviously this year, moon mining, refineries, and reactions moving into refineries was a huge change that came out post Vegas.
Yep, it's something I've been poking people about a lot, CSM members and stuff like that. Just not gotten anything back. It used to be you could tell who drug producers are now. Now you can't. due to all that stuff being moved to refineries.
Maybe you got to find out who's selling them and then track those people.
Oh yeah, don't forget that. That was a change. Drugs are now free to use in all security space.
That's true. That was a change also this year.
It is. But yeah, that was a big change because they only you could find at least an alt group in their drug making facility and take care of
Drug
it.
lab.
Now you can't because it's all switched over to the refineries. You can't tell immediately, and even tracking down who's putting stuff up for sale only really garners you their market tune. So then you have to do wherever else and work that way and try to dig further down if you can get that far.
Elsewise from the Lifeblood expansion was Resource Wars and the Pirate Forward operating bases. And then right up till Modern, we have the new Alpha updates allowing the expansion of Alphas into battlecruisers, battleships, Tech 2 guns up to mediums, and heavy guns Tech 1. So yeah, that's the arms race update, and that was the most recent update. And that's the year in EVE, as far as updates and patches go.
Yeah, so Lifeblood, also known as the slow decay and death of EVE Online.
Well, we'll have to see. EVE's been dying for 15 years now.
Mm-hmm. From day one. By the way, if you think EVE is dying, please contact your stuff to Orion Solo. I will gladly put it to use for you.
Yeah, we've had a lot of people come onto our server and talk about, well, I'm quitting EVE. I'm like, so give me all your shit.
I've
got a goon gang following me right now.
Uh-oh.
Never catch me. I'm actually, let me see what my fit is. I'm in a, I want to say it's a coercer. It's a Amar ship, because as you remember, we selected Amar. No, Executioner. It's Executioner. I've got 3 dual anode light particle streams with standard. I have a 5MN compact micro warp drive, fleeting compact stasis web, J5 enduring warp scrambler. Let's see, in the lows I have an upgraded energized adaptive nanomembrane and a compact damage control. And I'm just flying through nullsec with no shits given.
So, before we move on to the show year in review, how do you guys feel about the last year? I mean, I think I had a great year, and I liked a lot of the big changes that came out from EVE this year. I think we're moving in the direction of an amazing game, as far as almost reaching an EVE 2.0 with bosses and stations being phased out and citadels being the new lay of the land. And I mean, I wish it came out a little bit faster, but I'm happy in the direction we're going.
You know, I from the beginning of the year to the middle of the year, I had great expectations, and after FanFest and having gotten a lot of friends in real life, starting to play and enjoying it a lot more, I had high expectations. But then after, obviously, EVE Vegas, not so much. And then obviously the subsequent layoffs and a few snafus here and there. I've kind of, I mean, or Meredudd, you saw that I was logged into another game when you first saw me on comm. So I mean, I've kind of lost interest in EVE, really.
Kind of has all your stuff.
Well, no, I'm still playing. Don't be a weirdo. I'm playing right now. No, I'm just waiting for when carriers are free to play, so I can cancel all my subscriptions.
Alpha carriers. All right.
It's gonna happen. You give it about 13 months from now, it's gonna happen.
Orion, what about you? What do you feel about this year?
Game dev wise, I think they're going the right ways. I think there needs to be some more major tweaks to citadels to make them less cancerous than what they are already. Past that, I think we're doing okay. I mean, there's still like I said, the drug changes. I think still need to be something done about that. But past that, I think we're trolling along all right.
Hobar, how do you feel?
I think overall the changes have been pretty great. I'm happy with the changes. The T3 rebalance took a while to get used to because it threw basically the T3 meta on its head. But other than that, yeah, I like that. I especially like that they've upped the alpha player skill set a little bit because now those guys are actually going to be useful for some stuff.
Are wormhole groups pulling in more alpha players? You think now because of these changes, or about the same? You think?
I've noticed a little bit of a bump for us. I don't know about other groups. Cloaking is still a major factor for alphas and wormholes, but I mean they can get by.
Sweet. All right. Well, I wanted to cover over a little bit of the Mind Clash podcast year in review, and we'll talk about what's going on in the show. I mean, we kind of sometimes talk about how the show is doing and how to get involved and all that kind of stuff. But I wanted to cover a little bit of our stats and our followers and stuff in this past year. Of course, we're on episode 67 tonight. This is a weekly show, and we were pretty good at keeping it up weekly this year. We had 50 episodes.
Yeah, that's not too bad at all. I mean, that's even with you're talking about holidays, me being in Afghanistan. Well, really the tail end of 2016, but with all the training that I've been doing, even with me in the field, I still had managed to jump on my phone and hop on Discord here and there. So, yeah, I mean, we're both pretty dedicated to this whole idea. So, we're trying, even though we're both busy, for sure.
Yeah, those broadcasts from the hallways of your in transit barracks or whatever.
Oh God, that was rough. That was so rough to try to edit. Hey, give me 1 second.
Yeah, I mean, I personally moved house this year. I bought our first property, and that was a huge chunk of my time assigned to that, and moving and getting settled and still unpacking boxes a couple months later.
Still unpacking?
I don't want to talk about it, okay?
I think I still have boxes that haven't been unpacked, and I've lived in my house for almost 3-4 years now.
So you're saying it gets better?
We have too much stuff in our house. There's times I just want to chunk stuff inside to get rid of it.
Well, since we've been so busy, we opened it up to we made a call for some people to join the show and help as producers, and this year we had 3 people sign up so far to help behind the scenes and do some work and help with the show and produce content and wrangle guests. And Orion, you've been a big part of that.
Well, so is Cyclo and Magnus, both very good dudes, been helping us out quite a bit.
Cyclo gets no credit; he's not here.
Oh, well, he should. He does those alpha videos, very good things.
No, I'm kidding. He does a great job behind the scenes as well. I think he's a little bit dejected that the tournament scene has taken a hit with no Logibro, but
yeah, and I hope guys like Bayart J and those dudes who help run, who do the event stuff, hopefully, they'll have the stamina, or that word I'm trying to say, and the support from CCP as they can get it to keep doing that stuff, so we can keep the tournament players around, because that's a fun thing to talk about. It's great entertainment, I think. I love it.
Yeah, and of course, thanks to Magnus as well. He's been helping a lot getting our show out onto Facebook, all the different social medias. It's hard to keep it all updated and keep it posting it. Don't want to push every single episode out there to the community. Like, you can follow or sub or subscribe if you want to catch every episode, but we'll push the good ones and we'll keep doing that. And I mean, word of mouth is honestly our best way to get new people to listen to the show. If they're not listening to podcasts or they don't realize that the podcasts are available for EVE content, I mean, you listeners are the best way to introduce new people to the show and get them out to listen to the show or come on our Discord and be a guest. So, and as far as Discord goes, our Discord usership has jumped huge in the past year. I mean,
it's jumped.
You mean the last couple days?
Well, the last couple days as well. I don't want to dive too deep into that, but
I think one of the things I like most about our Discord is we have such a diverse group of people. I mean, we have leadership from NC Dot, and we've got people from CVA and Goon Swarm and PL, and just pretty much all over Eve. And I always tell people, like, hey, I've had one guy in real life. He's like, hey, I'm looking for a new corp, and I'm like, hey man, just let me know, and I can put you in touch with literally any corporation or alliance you want.
Yeah, I mean, even above and beyond those large groups that have a lot of players out there, there are a ton of players from small groups that are underrepresented, whether they're wormhole groups, whether they're high sec groups. All types of playstyles are represented in the community, and it's great that they are hanging out in our Discord, and we appreciate all of you who are part of the Discord and helping making that space fun and engaging on a non podcast night, and a good place to ping for guests if we need them.
Yeah, sorry, I was busy. My son came back down. I'm trying to get him to bed, but yeah, about what you were saying earlier about getting help. It's been great having Orion and Cyclo and people just trying to help us out, making sure that when we're going live they retweet us, and it's been great, and it's shown that people are interested and they wanna get involved in this.
Yeah, for sure. This year we also got syndicated by Crossing Zebras, which is great. Getting our voice out there to a slightly different crowd, as well as lots of podcasters and streamers who've been repping the show or we've had on as guests, and they've taken their experiences back and shared it on their shows. To the Open Comms people, to Reload.
Reload, definitely.
To anyone who's been on the show, we thank you for being on the show and thank you for talking about us. Eve Onion, we've done some work with them. Like I said, word of mouth is great. We appreciate anyone who's sharing us out there. I did my best at Eve Vegas to get the business cards out there, and I had a lot of fun sharing those out.
Yep, you were live on stream.
Yeah, Chocolate or Rain putting us out there on her stream for us every once in a while.
Yeah, for sure. We also got upgraded from the the homemade podcast logo that Kael, you did.
Which was pretty snazzy. Let's be fair.
It's not bad. But we got upgraded to the Rich Javix logo that sponsors us now. It looks great. We really appreciate the work he put into that podcast logo.
Yep, actually, the first bit of Patreon money that we got, I cashed that out, put into my PayPal, and bought some Plex so I can pay Rick's the 1 billion ISK for some work on that. So, it's what you guys are paying us in either Patreon or subscribers. That's kind of stuff that it goes into.
Yeah, and of course, that logo has been used on all our new pieces of social media through YouTube and Twitter, which we brought onto the same brand logo this year. You can find us on the Mind Clash Podcast YouTube now, and we also have the Mind Clash Podcast Twitter, as well as our personal Twitters for all three of us here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and as far as the year going forward, I'm definitely going to start trying to get more T-shirt designs. Like I started doing one, which I intended for Vegas, but a quick cost analysis, revealed that was going to be a bit too pricey because I wanted, full color and stuff on the sleeve for Crossing Zebras and all that. But I might still try and finish that design up, and maybe we'll make a storefront if someone wants to purchase one of those shirts.
Yeah, we'll figure out something for next time we go to one of those big player meetups.
Yeah, or small ones.
Maybe. Like we were saying there, the subscriptions are a big help. People who subscribe to us on Twitch and people who are Patreon supporters of the show, those funds help a lot with covering the server costs, as well as allowing us to increase advertising and increase the development of the show above and beyond what we can acquire for free, which is a fuck ton of shit. But
it's a lot.
It's overwhelming sometimes. But we're going to just run through the people who have supported the show this year, and we'd like to thank you by name personally. Saragossa, Texmer HNTR.
I think it's Texas Stream Hunter. I remember talking to him a couple weeks ago. I can't remember who exactly it was, but it was somebody we had on our show, and he subscribed, so I appreciate that.
That was me, and it's Texas Storm Hunter.
Yeah. See, I remember that.
Who?
It's someone who lives in this fake place. I think they're called wormholers.
Fucking Texas.
We appreciate it. Evonian News sponsored us supported us this year. Anduin Spartan also sponsored us this year. Nama Hunter. Of course, number one fan of the show, Magnus Corral. OG.
Yeah. Did you know he has paid us $65 so far in Patreon money?
I owe that guy a hand job.
At the very least.
Atra Willis, thank you very much. And Subly12. Those are all our Twitch subscribers. Thank you all very much for subscribing to the show. I really didn't expect when we started it that it would ever get to this point where people are supporting us financially. It's really humbling, and I really appreciate every dollar that you could be spending on food or your mortgage or your investments, and you're instead putting it into the show. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. I mean, it really means a lot. As far as subscriptions go and all that stuff, there's only really one podcast that I put Patreon money to, and that actually is For Brewers for beer brewing, because they actually put out like extra content here and there. But so I'm very picky with where I put that extra few dollars. So we appreciate that, and like Meredudd said, like I never expected this to go beyond maybe 10 or 15 episodes before people boot us off the screen. But apparently you guys enjoyed listening to us. Looking at the numbers.
I mean, I listen to you guys on my commute to work, and now I've been on the show twice now. It's kind of great because I get to listen to myself talk. But you have one of the better podcasts, in my opinion, and I love listening to it.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, the reason I got started, I listened to High Drag and all those guys, and now, whenever I pop on High Drag, I think I've been on 2 episodes now. It's gets me kind of elated where I'm like, oh man, I'm talking to celebrities,
Yeah, and that's something else, guys. Feel free to reach out to producers, Kael, Meredudd, myself. And if you have something you want to talk about, just hit us up and we'll see about doing what we can. We love hearing from smaller groups to talk about stuff, what you got going on. And if we can squeeze you in, we'll get you in, man.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the reasons why I started this, because I wanted to expose new people to certain aspects of the game that they may not have thought about, and I enjoy having newer players or small player groups, and we can say, hey, check this thing out. But rolling along with that, as far as patrons go, yeah, like we said, Busing, number one fan, but also Jeff H has, I'm not sure who that is, but he's subscribed to us since February. And Silicone Buddha, who you might remember has been on a few times. He had a talk on eVegas for mindful meditation in EVE Online, which, believe it or not, I really subscribe to his idea, and it's his way of thinking. So thank you, you 3 guys for supporting us on Patreon.
Votels was asking for the Patreon link there in chat.
Yes, I will find that.
Super professional. Here we are. But yeah, like Orion was saying, the show is about the community. It's not really about us. It's not really about getting the Iron story out or the Triumvirate story or wherever Kael's heading or ending up. It's not even about discrediting all the wormholers that their space doesn't exist. It's really about this community and getting anyone's story out there, big, small, little, big, confusing, complicated, simple, dedicated, creative, annoying, doesn't matter. We'll have you on there. I grit my teeth and have people who I don't really agree with or support on the show all the time, and it's about giving everyone a valid chance to speak on their topic of interest, hopefully with some editorial questions from us to keep them honest, and of course from you in the viewing audience. And I know we don't have the best time slot in the world, and it's it's a struggle to keep people coming out to this late hour. It's completely incompatible with anyone on the Euro or Iceland kind of timeline. So
Yeah. But honestly, I don't think there's any other time slot that would work well for me. I think the Friday and the Saturday has been kind of taken up by open comms and talking stations, which is now on Sundays, by the way, if you didn't know that. But yeah, Monday just kind of works for me, and it flows well. It works good.
Thank you, Jay, which I'm guessing is Voltrells. Thank you so much for that Patreon.
It might have been Voltrells. Thank you.
Yep, and the worst case, if you guys can't be on and you want to talk about something, or we got something coming to talk about and you can't be on, like hit up one of the producers. Me, I'm fairly active as well on Silo and whatnot. I'll sit down and we'll text via Discord or in game if you want, and we'll go through what you want to talk about, and I can put it in the notes for next time.
Oh, which speaking of which, but before I forget, because I forgot last week, the 20th, which is coming up, is it still the 20th? I believe it is. In a few days, is the Valkyrie Cup. Is that what they're calling it? The Valkyrie Cup?
Yeah, Valkyrie Charity Cup or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So Valkyrie, if you're still playing that little old game, they're going to have like a tournament, a 3 versus 3 tournament style matching system. I've actually volunteered to play on that. I'm not too great, but I'm going to play. So make sure you check that out and go visit them. I'll see if I can find the details and link that.
I would love to get into some of that tournament style stuff.
I think this one's a low bar. You just jump right in.
All right.
Well, yeah, pretty much I just want to wrap up this year of Mindclash in just saying thank you everyone for making this year of Mindclash so exciting and so interesting. I have really been humbled by the amount of cool people from the community that I've gotten to meet, people who I honestly, through my little bit of social anxiety, would probably have never bumped into and shaken their hand at Vegas. I would have waited till I was introduced or till it was just an opportune moment. But through the show and through slight bits of reputation, I can bump into these people and expand my circle of friends. And I take a lot of the people who are in this Discord as friends because the amount of time I spend chatting with you. And of course, that's a pretty common result of the current or modern MMO world, is we develop these relationships above and beyond our real life through these online relationships that extend beyond just typing away in a channel. It's
yeah.
Please help! They won't let me go.
Shh, Orion.
Help me.
Anyways, we hope, or at least I personally hope, that next year is bigger and better than this year. I hope to keep expanding on cool guests and challenging topics and following the news and expanding the brand and bringing on more producers and expanding more viewpoints. I think there's a couple areas of the game that I'd love to dive deeper into as they're outside of my personal expertise and Kael's and Orion's and
Yeah, absolutely. As much shit as I like to give CCP and EVE Online all the time, I hope and pray that this game continues to thrive and flourish for the next few years. Because, yeah, I absolutely love talking to you guys. When I log in the mornings or Friday nights, Saturday nights, there's nothing better than sitting there chit chatting with you guys. It's an honor, really.
Thank you all.
Are backs sufficiently padded?
Yeah,
Yes.
we go into the meetups.
Yeah, let's get some meetups. Eve Glasgow, December 28th, in Glasgow, obviously. Vancouver monthly meetup, Vancouver, BC. You can meet me there. Tridget, CCP Snowden, maybe. A couple other people. It's a good fun meetup at the Boston Pizza in New West. You can come check us out. I know there's Vancouver people who aren't showing up to that shit. So if you know someone who lives in the Vancouver area, or even just across the border, swing up and meet us for the monthly meetup. It's a good 4 hours, so it's worth your time to come by. Eve Antarctica. Not sure if troll.
I hope it's not a troll.
Might be troll.
But there was that. I seen a picture of a piece of paper pasted on or tacked onto an actual base down there in Antarctica that said I think it was test. I think it was the test Dino or something like that. So obviously there's has to be Eve players down there.
Not sure.
December 29th at 1200.
Has to,
Not
has
troll.
to be. I wish I could make it. I would be there.
Not sure if troll. Charlotte, North Carolina, January 20th. Eve Melbourne meetup, 20th of January in Melbourne, Australia. Eve Breck, that's the snowboarding event in Breckenridge, Colorado. That's on February 1st.
I believe Doom Chinchilla has a Discord server for that as well. I think he's pretty much the one behind that one.
God.
Yep, it's a 3-day event. I think CCB Carcore might be going to that one as well.
I believe she has shown up a few times for that.
Yeah, so check that one out if you're a snowboarder in that area of the Rockies. And there's more events always out there. If you want to start your own event, eve.meet or evemeet.net, and you can form your own event. It's free to set it up, and you can bring together other Eve nerds from your local area, wherever that is. And we'll obviously advertise it here.
It's too easy. I've done it 2 times already, and I've successfully made it with at least 5 nerds per event.
Yeah, it's good times.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
Well, thank you all our new followers tonight. Thank you to our new sub. We really appreciate it. Thank you all for listening and following and subscribing and hang out on the Discord. Like we were saying before, thank you all. You're why we do this. Sort of we are why we do this. I don't know why we do this. Kael, help me.
I have no idea. I'm trapped.
Obviously for the RMT-esque.
Secretly, Orion's holding us here. All right,
Look at the now.
let's get some shout outs. Hobar, you want to shout out someone?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and give a shout out. Last time I was on the show, I did my little plug for ERB's recruiting, and we actually had a new bro come and try to join us because he heard me. He stayed for a couple weeks, found out that, maybe his skill set just quite wasn't high enough, wasn't having fun, so we parted our ways. So mad props out to you, Butch Bloodstake. Hope you're listening, and maybe one day you'll come back to Wormholes. Other than that, Einstein Rosen Brigade, we're always recruiting, so look us up.
For sure, all right?
Shout out to my boys, Lethal Injection, Triumvirate. See you guys out there. Thank you all for joining us.
Beautiful. Kael?
Yeah, I don't really have any other shout-outs except for, just think about my wife tomorrow. She's going to have spinal fusion surgery. It's pretty intense, so, I'm going to have some time off to hang out at the house and make sure she's okay. So if you see me online, say hello and wish her some well wishes.
Yeah, wish her the best from the show. And I'm going to shout out Asher for pulling his shit together and having a podcast. Even though his mention of the other groups inhabiting Fountain, other than Initiative, was a couple of filler alliances in a 2.5 hour show.
Ooh, the dagger.
I'm going to have to check that out.
It hurts. I still love you, Asher. Okay.
Someone would be so kind to do a knife in the back of Meredudd with Asher holding it. That'd be the greatest.
I feel it there. All right, thank you all. Next week is Christmas on Monday. If you haven't bought all your gifts, you're fucked, just like me. The following week is New Year's. Kael, are you still thinking about doing the New Year's show?
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to get shit-pissed drunk.
So be there for that. I'm assuming it'll be open mic. Come hang out.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Great. Well, if you want, you can come out and check us out on New Year's. That's New Year's Day, I guess. I may be here. Maybe late. I might chime in through text. We'll see.
Oh, I'll do it New Year's Eve. Let's fucking do it.
Oh, you should just go join the open comm show then.
Okay,
Oh.
sounds good.
Yeah, if you don't have one here, go to Office Comms.
But otherwise, we will be back during the second week of January there. We'll get back to the action. We're in talks with a couple of the leadership from NC. We'd love to hear about their recruitment and kind of culture within NC. We also have an idea for... We've had a couple ask for an industry show. We should probably do a show on drugs. Hey, Druggy?
No, I love drugs.
I can bring on our greatest drug heads.
Especially with modern drugs and the changes with agency boosters.
No, the agency boosters are just the easy stuff. We deal more with the traditional stuff.
Yes. Yeah. And then, of course, we're just waiting to hear from your topics, whether it's a deep dive. Oh, well, okay. I'm glossing over. We will likely have an interview with Jay Meredudd following his conga line of leaks in our new most used channel on our Discord, which is This Week's Leaks. Or This Leak Show.
This show.
Yeah, there is a hive of activity going on there around all these leaks. I don't know what they all mean. No one knows.
It means something. It means something for sure.
I think he knows. We'll get him to explain it to us through an interview at some point, hopefully in the new year there early after all this comes out. So stay tuned for that.
Thank. All right, that sounds good to me.
Apparently the Patreon donation was Jay.
No way.
That's what he says.
Oh, I love it. Appreciate it, Jay. You're the man.
Thank you.
All right, great. Well, we will see you in the new year. Have a happy holidays and fly dangerous.